Welcome to the show. You have found Mason Street Retirement Insights, where every week we turn to our resident financial advisor, Sean Mason. He is the founder of Mason Street Wealth Management right here in Fresno. And he's been helping clients retire with confidence for years. He'd love to do the same for you. So he is here today to break down some of the biggest retirement topics for us. All right, Sean, let's get into some retirement talk, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So we talk a lot on this show about how retirement strategies evolve and how what made sense 10 or 15 years ago might not be the best fit for retirees today. And that idea really stood out to me when I saw a new study this week that asked financial advisors if they are adjusting retirement plans for our current economy. Now, about 65% of advisors said yes, and many of them are using a strategy they've never used before, an annuity. So I'm wondering, Sean, if you can talk to us about what it is about the annuity that is appealing to retirees today, where it might not have been so appealing 10 years ago, because we know annuities have gotten a bad rap in the past. They've been a little controversial. So talk to us about what's changed here.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And, with advisory firms changing strategy, when we move or transition from working years into retirement years, everything changes. I should say everything except for the need for income, right? Because income is going to continually drive lifestyle. But the priorities change. And we have to recognize that the investment strategy that we use, the tax strategy that we use, they're all going to be dependent on the income strategy. And so investment strategy has to change based on priorities in retirement. But then, the current economic environment also matters. And so if you as an individual investor have the skill set to understand the economic environment and the data that goes along with it, you might make some changes. If you don't, you might be better off with just, sticking with a specific strategy and structure that'll help you through good and bad times.
So when we say annuities have evolved, what would you say is the biggest difference that retirees would actually notice today as opposed to how they were set up 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's a big one, especially right now. And the reason I say that is annuities are extremely interest rate sensitive. And so what I mean by that, depending on what we're using annuity for, we might be utilizing annuity for growth. We could be utilizing annuity for guaranteed income. The deal or the benefits that an annuity can deliver is going to be based on the interest rate environment at the time that you sign up or start the annuity. The higher the interest rate environment, the higher the interest rates are at the moment that you sign up for the annuity, the higher that guaranteed income can be for the rest of your life. The higher the growth opportunity can be for the rest of your life. The reason for that is the annuity company is actually buying a 10-year treasury bond as the foundation for those guarantees that they're offering. And recognize today, 10-year treasury bonds are paying 4%, whereas 5 or 6 years ago, treasury bonds were paying 1%. So there's a lot more they can do with 4% compared to 1%. We haven't seen interest rates like this in 40 years. We probably are not going to see them again in our lifetime. So if an annuity is something that's a benefit, it's something that you definitely want to start getting educated about now. But look, as is with any investment, an annuity might be a perfect solution for what you're trying to accomplish, but it might not have any fit in your plan whatsoever. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish and what your exact situation is. And then you also have to understand that there's different types of annuities. I was talking with Daryl and Marjorie a couple weeks ago, and Daryl's brother has an annuity, and he was saying that his brother just really doesn't like that annuity. And so he had a copy of it. He had brought a copy of it because he wanted to see if he couldn't help his brother with it. And I found that this was a variable annuity. There weren't extremely great investment options in that annuity available. Fees were, I believe they were right at 3% a year for the fees. This annuity had been delivering about a 3.5% rate of return. It's real hard to get a rate of return out of an annuity when the investment options aren't great and you're paying 3%. So we started talking about a different type of annuity and started to try and fit and figure out if maybe annuity would benefit them in any way. Look, I was meeting with Johnny the other day, and he had come in and was really concerned that he didn't have a pension, and he thought that that was a real negative in his plan.
Yeah.
And so I showed him how we could actually take a portion of his resources and buy a pension. And he really liked that. And when we did the numbers, it really made sense for him. But then it wasn't just a guaranteed income annuity that was going to benefit him. We actually started working in his plan and designing strategy and figured out that some Roth conversions would be a significant benefit to him long term. And as we tried to enhance the benefits of those conversions, we found that a specific annuity designed for Roth conversions was going to increase the benefits significantly. So there's a lot of different types of annuities out there. Right now is really the timing that you want to go and start to figure out if there's a good fit somewhere in your plan for one of these annuities.
So this change in the annuity landscape that we've seen over the past decade, Sean, do you think it's more about the product itself changing, or is this about the retirees' mindset changing? Or maybe is it a combination of both of those things?
I'm finding, that's a really great question, because I'm finding more and more that people are probably more concerned about income and running out of money or running out of income to fulfill the lifestyle that they're looking for than anything else. And that's where annuities can really come in and make a big difference. I don't know. Maybe it's mindset. I don't know really what made that change, but 100% the interest rate environment is delivering much bigger income, guaranteed income for life than they were 5, 6, 8 years ago. And this is why I encourage you to come in and have a discussion and talk this out. What's good for one scenario or situation might not be good for another, and it just gives us an opportunity to come in. It gives us an opportunity to have a discussion to really talk through what you're trying to accomplish and what you're concerned about. So give us a call. The team is standing by, 559-847-0039. We're going to walk through your situation. We're going to get an understanding about what you're trying to accomplish, what concerns you, and we'll just look and see if any of these annuity strategies might make a difference.
That is going to do it for us this week here on Mason Street Retirement Insights. As always, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from Sean Mason, president of Mason Street Wealth Management. Take care.
Mason Street Wealth Management, MSWM, is a registered investment advisor, and the opinions expressed by MSWM on this show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of Motivate Investments. Registration is not an endorsement by securities regulators. Investment advisory services are offered through Motivate Investments, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. The information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities, offered through Sean A. Mason, California, insurance license number 0B54860. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Motivate Investments. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. MSWM is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if MSWM is licensed in your state, please call 559-892-0002.